So, I'm thinking about doing this documentary. Civil War, liberal versus conservative. Sort of like a Michael Moore, but in a different, right?
I mean,
like,
today's Civil War, right? Okay.
Today's Civil War.
Okay.
Right? I mean, do you agree with the premise of that? And what are your definitions for liberal versus conservative? Where are we at today in America?
Well, I mean, I think that the important thing to understand about, for example, President Obama is that he obviously has sort of the Acorn community organizer,
Yeah.
Solinsky world.
And we fight him on the right.
Right. But he's also got Wall Street.
He does.
It is a weird kind of
Mix. I have a theory on that too.
The Soros-Sharpton coalition.
Yes.
That's against the middle.
Yes.
And so Al Sharpton and George Soros are sitting around. Maybe they've never met each other. Who knows? But they're both sort of saying, look, what we need is more welfare and for the poor and more welfare for the rich. And then they're getting it.
Now, do you think that some people with that liberal coalition, that's the quote-unquote new plantation, meaning that here is the power mongers of the elite and the liberal Democrats that promise, different, lower class groups or this and that, or minority or traditionally oppressed groups, this and that, whatever, to get the votes, but they never deliver, right? Kind of like when
they deliver for Sharpton. He's doing fine.
Or is it good intentions that they really want to help these people? They feel guilty. They have all this money. They live as liberals, but they'll only do so much about it.
I agree with that, but I'm just saying if that were only what Obama had going for him, he never would have gotten elected.
Okay.
He's got Wall Street too. That's what people have to understand, is that you watch the 2012 re-election campaign and watch how much, when Obama runs, how much money he raises out of all the people he gave all the bailout money to.
Oh, yeah.
He'll get...
Well, he's got the Valley too.
And he's got... That's a different category, because they're not recipients of Wall Street money. I think that is just more cultural antipathy in the part of Silicon Valley to the Christian right and so on.
Well, it is. It's a weird thing. So I mean, because I deal with these guys all the time, and it's like it's always been. And then there's a different thing too. I have a lot of Jewish friends about why so many Jewish Americans vote liberal as well when it just sometimes seems against at least Israel's interests, right? And the best read I can get is that a lot of these people thought that Obama, in other words, I have all this money and I've been so successful and I've been raised in this liberal indoctrination that, hey, the right wing is racist, sexist, homophobes, everything like that. And, now I've got this money. Well, it's like Leonardo DiCaprio being the big environmentalist. Well, hey, I'm against this and that, and I'm for, Darfur, and I'm for saving the polar bears, but I still have my private jet. Right. I'm still going to Aspen and the Hamptons, this and that, whatever. So do as I say, don't do as I do. And they thought that Obama was going to be sort of like Clinton, like, hey, we can be for this guy, first African-American president, and we can be hip and down with it, but it's not really going to cost me anything. Right. And so now I've seen so much buyer's remorse because he's gone after them. I'll tell you, the party that they believe in or the color they believe in, it's green. I guarantee you that. And so now he's in their pockets with, blowing up the GM bondholders agreements and hurting hedge funds and breaking contracts and stuff like that, trying to double the capital gains rate, trying to, for private equity funds and venture capital funds, trying to raise the carried interest rates, which is the biggest way they make money. And there's all these attacks. And even cap and trade is going to attack, the Silicon Valley and all that type of stuff. And so they're like, what the heck is going on here? And I think there's a big double take now. It used to be when I started speaking on, because you've been following us. I know you're really busy, but you've been seeing some of our stuff. And first of all, I want to thank you for being one of our first strong supporters. Yes, absolutely. Okay. And I got so much heat for being one of the first guys, to stand up strongly against Obama and what these guys. I mean, when he was running the primary against Hillary. Because I went to Berkeley, undergrad and law school. I've seen this kind of guy before. I know what this is all about. And, people were like, you couldn't even say it. I was losing deals because of it. People didn't want to, and then it became, well, okay, you could say it. And now that side is kind of quiet. I think that there's been a real shift.
Well, we'll see. I'm not arguing. I mean, it's interesting to hear just reports on this. I think that the real secret of sort of the Bay Area, and I went to Stanford.
Oh yeah, so you're right there.
I went there as well. Is they're sort of libertarians.
Yes.
Sort of left libertarian.
Yes.
And look, Obama is keeping faith with them on abortion.
Yes.
And gay marriage
and there is that atheist thing in there too.
The sort of the secular general worldview thing and so on, and things like stem cell. I mean, he's still throwing them plenty of things that they want, and so I mean, I think the group that's really being hurt by Obama is the middle class.
Oh yeah.
Right? And they're just their jobs are going overseas, and Obama cap and trade is going to wreck the industrial economy, what's left of the industrial economy, and he's eventually going to raise their taxes. And by the way, then put Granny in a death panel. I mean, in other words, so I think that's that the group that Obama, they can again, Silicon Valley may have second thoughts, but Wall Street, which again, and like you could look it up, like 46% of all the corporate profits in America are Wall Street. Now, I mean, we've just simply, so the Robert Rubins of the world have helped tilt the whole WTO and things like that. Say, look, we don't care about American manufacturing, but it's vital that a blue chip company like AIG, that was a joke,
absolutely,
gets to sell life insurance in China, and that sort of emphasis on financial services has driven America, has obviously distorted the American economy badly.
Oh yeah,
and gave us the meltdown of the bubble and stuff. And I don't see Obama changing that, which means that
he's in bed with them.
He's in bed. Well, yeah, exactly. He's in bed with them, and Larry Summers and Tim Geithner are,
and all those Goldman guys.
Are, and so to the extent that Silicon Valley, and I don't, it is a producer of things as opposed to just a financial transactor.
Yes, they
should be rethinking. Hey, listen, what about card check? I mean, is that really, go down the list of those kinds of issues and say, is this really good for us? And if the answer is not, then they should take action.
No, absolutely, and that's one of the things that I'm upset about is we don't even have people, capitalism. This isn't capitalism. First of all, right now we've got crony capitalism. He's picking winners and losers. I mean, you bail out GM, well, that's good for GM. What about Ford that did it right, that didn't need that money? You bail out Goldman, well, bye-bye Lehman and Bear.
Well, I mean, Bloomberg had a story in July of the top 9 banks got 175 billion in bailout money. 175 billion. Of that, they turned around and gave 32 billion in bonuses.
Oh yeah, I mean, and more than their profits. So I mean, and we don't get the money back. I mean, it's business as usual.
It's worse. I mean, Hank Paulson could only dream of giving that much money to his friends.
Socialism on the way down, capitalism on the way up. There's no downside to them, and even though there's no explicit guarantee, we're back to Fannie and Freddie, because everyone knows that they're still too big to fail, and if they do it again, they're going to get bailed out again. Right, and
now they'll be bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, we've gone from 4 or 5 companies to 2 or 3, and they're all now that Goldman and J.P. Morgan are going to say, listen, we went through a little close call there in 2008, but thanks to our political contacts, we were bailed out, we recovered, and so now we can do subprime mortgages not only for America, but for the world.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be great.
So we see the P-Parties rally against us. Obama's polls are coming down. I mean, again, the liberal versus conservative thing, or just where America's at, where are people at? Because the thing is, we have these big fights on TV, and in the politics, and in the parties, stuff like that, but at the end of the day, people sit around, they don't say, hey, are you liberal, are you conservative? People hang out. I mean, what's the pulse of this country?
I think that, I think that part of what we're still processing is Bush 43 presidency. Right. And people are saying, look, okay, Obama sucks, fine, okay, but is he better or worse than Bush?
Okay.
And, and so is he getting us in more foreign wars? Okay, no. He's not winning them, but and he might even be losing the one in Afghanistan. But does the average American really care? In terms of pulse-wise, and so I think that I think I heard Steve Ballmer say a year or two. Look, we're looking for a pretty substantial reset of the economy, in terms of just downward, right? I mean, because as the Chinese figure out what the dollar's really worth,
right,
so on and so on, then okay. How much military overseas activity can we afford if the economy is reset by fill in the blank %? Is it less?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you And so people are saying to themselves, look, you know, at least we're not doing that. We don't have this sort of democratize the world, send troops everywhere stuff. And
less forward-leaning.
Well, they just don't. I mean, they think that Obama on foreign affairs is a good deal more normal than Bush and Cheney. And that's worth a lot.
Okay. So we've touched around it. Obama. I mean, who is he really? Is he the radical? Is he more mainstreaming? What's your?
I think he's a suit. I think that piece in the New Yorker, the one with he and the cartoon cover.
Oh yeah, the fist bump.
Yeah, but
we covered that.
The piece was by Ryan Lizza for the New Yorker, and the point of the articles I remember was a year and a half ago was he's really not a radical. He's just sort of an opportunist, you know.